What's up, Navigating Academia family? This is your buddy Dr. J. Phoenix Singh coming at you with another response to a valued viewer's question. Today's response comes to a question that was posed by Jose on a video of mine called Biggest Mistakes I've Ever Seen in Grad School Interviews. And if you guys have watched that video, you know there have been some doozies through the years, right? But here was Jose's question, so I'm going to read right here. Jose said, I have a question for your next video. I have a 3.8 GPA going into my senior year. Great job, Jose. Keep that up. It sounds like you're doing a great job. So Jose says, I need to take the GREs because the program I want requires it. Awesome. Watch all of our GRE prep videos. I've decided to go with an honors thesis. So those of you who don't know, an honors thesis, sometimes it's called a senior honors thesis, sometimes it's called a capstone project or a capstone thesis. It's at the end of your undergraduate, collegiate years. And the idea here is that it's essentially topping off your undergraduate experience in usually whatever your major field is, and it's usually some kind of a research project. And it sounds like for Jose, that's what he's talking about here, especially if he's doing the GRE for graduate school, some kind of a research project. So Jose says, what tips do you have for an honors thesis? Finding the right supervisor, finding the right topic to research, and how to go about finding the target population. So, Jose, I'm happy to give you some tips here. Some of the stuff I'm sure you can understand is highly individualized in terms of what specific field you're in, what university you're at, the country that you're in, what your goal is in terms of going to graduate school. Where do you want to go? What field are you in? Who's your target supervisor? What are the target universities? There's a lot of things in terms of that milieu, which we can't get into in a general video like this. But what I can do definitely is to give you some kind of 10,000-foot tips, okay? So I thought about this myself because I personally did a senior honors thesis. I loved it. It was a great experience. It's definitely something that was a nice bridge for me between undergraduate and graduate school, okay? So in terms of finding the right supervisor, the goal always is to work backwards, okay? You got to think about what is the program that you want to get into, and especially because it sounds like you're doing some kind of research-related field. Then it's really important to be able to think about who the target supervisor is at that graduate program. What I want you to do is I want you to go and take a look at, the population that they research. Take a look at the methodology that they employ. Maybe they use some kind of equipment as well, eye tracking, fMRI, anything like that, right? And in addition, I want you to take a look at kind of the phenomenon that they look at. This could be, for example, like a clinical phenomenon, depending on the field that you're looking to go into, right? And I want you to see whether or not you can find any faculty member who's doing research that has a goodness of fit with any one of those three. For example, it could literally just be the methodology. Maybe the target supervisor is an expert in meta-analysis, right? Like that's what they're really into. Okay, well that suggests that if you have something to do with the meta-analysis, then they're going to freaking love that because all of a sudden they don't have to recreate the wheel anymore, okay? And so that's going to be your goal, okay, is to be able to find somebody in your department, preferably in your department if you're doing an honors thesis, who can actually provide you with some guidance there, okay? So that's number one. Okay, so that's how to find the quote-unquote right supervisor, right? So take a look at their CV, take a look at the last 1 to 2 years of first authored publications of the target supervisor to be able to find out information about those three things that I mentioned, as well as methodologically speaking, what they prefer, okay? So that's the first piece of guidance. Second one, right topic to research as close as possible as the topic that the target doctoral or master's supervisor cares about, right? The closer you can get to that, the better. Just remember that one of the biggest mistakes that people have going into, let's say, doctoral programs, master's programs too, but really doctoral programs, is this assumption that you're going to go there and the job of the supervisor is to teach you how to do the projects that you want to do, right? This is a big mistake. It's a mistake that I made, I can tell you that, and it's a mistake that I've seen countless other people make over the last 17, 18 years that I've been in academia, right? The thing is that our job is to be able to make the supervisor's life easier at the end of the day, right? No supervisor wants a situation where basically a new graduate student's going to come in and say, okay, I don't care what agenda you've got going on, the research line you've got going on, the grants you're working on. This is what I want to do. This is the research I want to do within your field. So your job is to be able to train me on how to be able to do that. Okay, thank you very much. I'm the one paying tuition. Peace, right? Okay, don't do that, right? Not cool. Also, I very quickly found out going to Oxford that doing this in the UK, not appropriate. So don't do that. If you're going to be in the UK at least. All right. So in terms of that right topic, just get that goodness of fit there, right? Now, it doesn't have to be the perfect project. Remember that at the end of the day, even when you're in graduate school, the goal of graduate school is to get in there, get the degree, and get the heck out of there, and to be able to start your career. It's not to get in there, do your most seminal work, and then leave. That's not the goal of graduate school. Just remember that. Same thing with the senior honors thesis. At most, you're going to be doing stuff for like 8 months, right, in terms of research. So even if it's not something where you're mega passionate about that specific topic, trust me on this one, suck it up. You can do it. It's something that's going to really behoove you in the long run, okay? Especially in terms of establishing goodness of fit with the target supervisor, which is what it's all about, okay? Last but not least, how to go about finding the target population. This one is highly individualized. Can't really give any specific guidance because I don't know what the target population is. It's going to be a lot more difficult if it's a vulnerable population. So if it's animals or if it's children or if it's prisoners or if it's the elderly, for example, or individuals diagnosed with mental illness, for instance, or people in a hospital. Okay, I mean, my guidance in terms of finding a target population, if you're dealing with, human subjects or participants, we don't like to call them subjects, right? The thing that you want to do is to be able to just use college students. That's the best. Otherwise, just individuals from the local community and all, but it's going to be a lot harder to recruit them. I remember when I was an undergraduate student, Jose, and literally, if you gave me like $5, I'd spend like 2 hours in the psych department doing ridiculous tasks, right? I would do it for the $5. I was broke, man. Come on, what are you going to do? But that's the thing, right, is that it's also inexpensive to be able to get that population. Just run something on like G Power. So it's G star, right, and then power, Power. Run an analysis, preliminary analysis on G Power, find out what it's going to take in terms of sample size, given the kind of analyses that you want to run, and figure out what it takes to find a large effect size, gather that data, do the analyses, done deal, okay? So that's my recommendation, or set of recommendations when it comes to senior honors thesis. Hope that helped. Love you guys. Have a great day. See you in the next one. Peace. Again, don't do that if you're in the UK.